Hey guys, BlackCross here, and if it sounds like I'm a little muffled, it's because of the fact that I've had to endure weeks upon weeks of a sinus infection. Fun stuff, isn't it? I got through a cold/flu/sinus infection and got through that, and now I'm back to being sick again. Will it ever end? But with that being said, though, I've been wanting to kind of get back into making a video of my hobby, which is basically collecting video games and stuff of that nature. So why not? Why don't we get back into the swing of things? I will try to do better at keeping up with games that I've collected. I don't want to just put out one every month or something like that. I want to put out something that gives you a good lineup list of games that I've currently gotten right now. So with that being said, let's go ahead and kind of go through in order as we are. The first one I got is Medieval for the PlayStation 4. You knew I was going to get this eventually, and I was waiting to get this. You know, whenever I played through the demo, I was originally kind of like I was somewhat kind of like over-analyst about it and stuff, and I was like, it feels weird. It doesn't feel right, you know, and the camera, to me, almost felt nauseating like how the PlayStation 1 was almost immediately within the demo, and it was very short. So I was kind of like worried for a moment, but then Caddy did his review, and I was like, you know what? I want Medieval. I'm going to go ahead and pick it up, and eventually I'll start playing it. Well, thankfully, I actually have started playing this, and I actually do want to do a review on this game whenever I get a chance to. But I have to say, so far, I was completely wrong. I don't know what was wrong with the demo itself, but the game itself is a little bit better, and better performed, too, so look out for a review on this one whenever I get a chance to. I wanted to get this because I was going to do a future episode of the PlayStation 2 Legacy series, and it's one that I think a lot of PlayStation 2 collectors don't talk about now, and that is the Game Shark for PlayStation 2. So, if you don't know, unless you were a master with computers and you were able to hack in any code you wanted into a game, the only way you could cheat codes in a video game is if there was a button combination, or you had this baby. And this isn't the exact copy that I have gotten, but it's close to it, rather. I used the Game Shark back years ago whenever I was playing the PlayStation 2. And this is a really fun one to use, especially in the old days whenever I found out that people were hacking in being able to play as Roxas with the dual-wielding keyblades. And I was like, I'm going to try that. Unfortunately, that's whenever I've learned about coding in video games with the T-poses and stuff like that. So that was fun. But definitely something that I'm going to be doing in a future episode of the PlayStation 2 Legacy. Look out for that. And in my personal opinion, if you're able to find any of these, definitely pick them up. They do add an extra layer of entertainment when it comes to video games, especially overpowerly wise. It's quite entertaining in my opinion. I'm about to lose my voice here. The next thing that I got, and this is more or less of a pop figure rather than a game, but if you know me, I've been collecting pop figures for quite some time now, and it's grown. It has grown significantly, and more so now that they've gotten them a little bit more stylized, a little bit better looking now. And this one's no different. But I thought to myself, out of all the Star Wars droids, I am surprised I have not gotten this one. And this little guy has a little bit of a history if you don't know. In fact, if you don't, I highly recommend you check out either TMP Viz or any particular person that does Disney theme park history or stuff like that. And that is this little guy right here. I'll post the name over here, but it's like DJ something or other. But if you don't recognize him, he is essentially a droid that you can find in Galaxy's Edge. And the funny thing is that this little guy right here is actually a reused animatronic from Star Wars Tour, or Star Tour, I believe it was called. But the point is, this little guy was a reused animatronic that was eventually used in Galaxy's Edge as like a DJ per se, and I thought it was really interesting. And to know that he has a pop figure of his own, I was like, you know what, I gotta get him now. I've got to, now that I know that he actually is this. So I went on ahead and found him online, and I got him whenever I did. And he's really cool. I like him. Plus, all the Star Wars have like a little bobblehead feature. But then again, that's also the Marvel figures. I'm not sure why it's just those two particular ones, but either way, I got another Star Wars droid, and this one's really cool. I love him. Now, those were more or less scattered throughout the month of October, per se. Now, technically speaking, the last week of October, me and Delmar decided to do a specialized trip to Knoxville because we felt like it. And basically what we did, we told ourselves that we were going to leave early enough. Technically, we live in a different part of Tennessee, and the place we were going to, known as McKay's Bookstore, they live in Knoxville, which is an hour ahead of us. So we figured if we leave here at 7, show up, technically they're an hour ahead, which means by the time we show up, which is 8 our time, but 9 their time, that means they will be open for business. So we figured, hey, this would be a perfect chance. We got there, and we were there about 10 minutes after they opened up. And lo and behold, we were able to get through relatively quickly, relatively easy, because the last 2 times we went to McKay's Bookstore, it was very packed. It was almost like a convention, per se, which isn't bad. It tells you that business is booming still in physical media and stuff. We went inside to McKay's Bookstore, and I got myself quite a plethora of games, per se. We'll get to the games in just a sec, but I do want to show off another pop figure that I've gotten from McKay's Bookstore, which is Artemis from Ready Player One. I've almost got pretty much all the main characters I wanted for Ready Player One, and Artemis was like the last one I wanted to get. Now let's get on to the actual games themselves. The first one that I got over here is Evergrace. I'm pretty sure this is kind of like a action-adventure game type thing. I don't remember, but I feel like I did rented this once whenever I was a kid, but I don't remember much of it. So I definitely do want to try this out sometime. So this will definitely probably be eventually a PlayStation 2 Legacy episode. Look forward to that. Here we have The Bard's Tale. Now, at first I didn't know anything about it, but a friend of mine mentioned it to me, and basically this game has a tremendous humor about itself, basically in terms of storytelling per se. And I was kind of like, really? And what's funny is that technically it came out for the PlayStation 4 as well, as a remaster, if you will. And so looking at the advertisement on that, I was like, huh, this actually sounds funny to me. So I was kind of like, you know what? If I can find it on PlayStation 2, I'll definitely get this. Because I'm getting to a point where I'm like, I appreciate having it on the PlayStation 2 more than I have on current systems. Not to say that having the current version of it is better, because technically they're remasters, if you will. But I just feel like having it for the PlayStation 2. Plus, I collect PlayStation 2 games, so why not just go ahead and get it and add it to the collection? Just makes sense. So, Alien Humanoids. This is basically a run and gun game, basically where you play as an alien per se. And needless to say, after playing through a game like Cuphead, I've been thinking about it, and I was like, you know, I kind of do actually kind of like the run and gun style. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of them out there. So if you ever get a chance to find one, definitely look into it a little bit, because Alien Humanoid is one that I'm wanting to go ahead and play, along with Metal Slug's anthology collection and stuff. I'll get to that eventually when I do, of course. Who's to say when, per se. And this one, Red Ninja End of Honor. I grew up knowing about this game for years, but really I hadn't really dabbled into it myself, per se. And whenever I saw this at McKay's Bookstore, I was kind of like, oh, this is actually really cool. I mean, McKay's, that particular day, that particular time we went into, first time it opened, there was a lot of PlayStation 2 games that I've been wanting to get, and this was the perfect time to stock up, really, in all honesty. And again, the list continues on, and Red Ninja was one that I've been trying to find for a while, and for reasons, obviously, I was trying to hold back from buying stuff online, unless I really, really wanted to sink my teeth into it, per se. But I'm glad that I did find this in McKay's Bookstore. And we continue on the list with Grim War, per se. It's a kind of a tied-up slang, per se. But this is actually done by the same people who's done Odin Sphere. And I was kind of interested, and I was like, you know what, we need to kind of see what this game is all about. And eventually I will get to that point when I have time, of course. Again, we have like crazy amount of games that I still want to play, and the list still adds on, so this is no better. But again, continuing on, we have Escape from Monkey Island here. I know about the Monkey Island for the PlayStation 1. I did not know that there was something along the lines for the PlayStation 2, so we'll definitely look into this when we get a chance to. Now, this one, when I saw this, I was like, this is really cool to actually find the other one of this particular duo. So, if you don't know, technically there's a company called Working Designs that does Pacific games, but the weird thing is, this is more or less a brother to another game known as Blaze Griffin, and this is known as Ziphead, The Lost Planet. And the weird thing is, they're two completely different games. Blaze Griffin is basically a mech fighting game, and this one is basically a shoot 'em up game. And the reason why I wanted to get this, not just because of the gameplay, but because of the holographic detailing of the case. And Blaze Griffin is the same way too, when you look at it. Even the flippin' manual, the manual is holographic. It's kind of, it's crazy, you know? And unfortunately, we're getting to a point in the day and age of where physical media is dying. So in other words, we won't be able to see holographic versions of cases anymore. But next to steelbook cases, this is actually really cool to find, you know? Just to see this holographic detailing of these covers and stuff. And personally for me, I'm interested in what this is going to bring out. So we're definitely going to be looking into it at some point in time. Now, I know a lot of people are going to tell me differently. They're going to say, just get it on the PlayStation 4. It's all being remastered now, you know. You got Yakuza 0, you got all of it. So why even bother getting Yakuza for PlayStation 2? Like I said earlier, I do want to try it out for the original PlayStation 2. For obvious reasons, of course. You know, I'm collecting for the PlayStation 2, obviously. And Yakuza is one of those games that I wanted to try out. I'm sure I'll eventually play through this and play through it and all that stuff. But, you know, obviously from what I'm seeing, probably the remaster version, the remake versions, however way you want to call it, the PlayStation 4 versions of the Yakuza series that is coming out right now are probably the better versions, I bet. I won't doubt it. Whenever I finally do get a chance to play it, I'll probably play through the newer version of Yakuza and probably let you know my analysis as to which one might be better. Probably say the PlayStation 4 would be better, no doubt about it. But till then, I got this to add to my collection. It does actually look pretty cool. And then the last game that I got from McKay's bookstore, keep in mind, all those that I mentioned just now, from Evergrace to now, are all games that I gotten from McKay's bookstore. They had a really great selection that time, and I was glad to score a whole bunch of games and everything. But the other one, this one's actually a PlayStation 3 game, is Kingdom of Olimar Reckoning for the PlayStation 3. Now, I don't know much about this game, but looking at it, I kind of had this feeling of like, you know, Dragon's Dogma or something along that lines. You know, basically a medieval adventure game and stuff. And I was kind of like, you know what, we'll definitely try this out eventually and give it my personal thoughts and opinions. Kind of see what it's like and stuff, you know, because this actually does look interesting when you kind of look into it deep from within the covers and stuff. So this was the last game that I got from McKay's bookstore. However, though, we were in Knoxville, we decided to go to several other places. We went to the mall, we went to several other shops and stuff, and I did eventually actually get me a couple of other stuff before we left Knoxville heading back home. The one that I definitely got was from GameStop, and I'm glad I finally got it. I know a lot of people are going to be asking me to play it, because obviously it is literally from Dark Souls to a certain extent. Dark Souls anime, if you will. But Code Vein, I finally got it. I will eventually be playing it and looking into it and stuff, when I get to that point, that is. But from where I played the demo, I definitely like it a lot. So hopefully whenever I get to the actual game itself, it will be a little bit more enjoyable. I have been told, however, that the final boss is very tricky and very hard, and my friend told me that if I ever need any help, just give him a call, and it's like, when I start it, I'll let you know. So it's like, everyone's telling me about Code Vein, and it's like, for someone who plays Dark Souls and Bloodborne like myself, the fact that I haven't started on it is a shock, but keep in mind, I've been sick, I've been behind, I've been tired, worked to death and stuff like that. So eventually I will get to Code Vein when I get to it. So do not worry, guys, I will get there. But the last thing I want to show off that I got was Arisco. Her metal version of Arisco. I've been wanting to debate on which Arisco I wanted to get, whether I wanted her normal version or if I wanted this one. I don't know why they made it her with a chainsaw. I don't know why. That's so odd. Because the entire time I was watching the show, I was like, I did not see Arisco holding a chainsaw once at all. You know, so it's like, why is she holding... Never mind. So I got her with her metal version look. I love it. Personally, for me, I do enjoy it. I think that's just so cool and it's so funny. I hope that eventually Arisco will get a little bit more love to where they'll make Haida as well as, Finico. That's right, Finico. Hopefully they'll make some of the other characters, because my personal favorite character off of Arisco, aside from Risco herself, is Haida. You know, Haida's really funny, he's hilarious. Kind of reminds me of me in a way, to a certain extent. But still, to a point, I finally got Arisco, and I personally enjoy Arisco, the show itself on Netflix. I highly recommend it if you are a fan of certain stuff of that nature. That's really good. So, and that's all the time that I have, so thank you so much for watching my video. Obviously, I'm still somewhat sick right now. I'm still having to go through the crud and everything like that. Hopefully I will get better to where I can actually do stuff, because quite frankly, being sick is not fun. Be patient with me, and eventually I will get better to where I can make better videos and stuff. I do actually have a lineup of videos already made beforehand, but I haven't got a chance to release them because I do have this schedule that I'm going to keep up with for releasing videos every Monday and Friday, or every other Monday, depending on video-wise. So hopefully this video is enjoyable, especially when it comes to the collecting theme of things. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you in the next video. This is BlackCross signing off. Take care, guys.